What's going on, everybody? Marla Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today, y'all, we are looking at Fantastic Four, issue number 24. This issue was released in December of 1963, and the publishing is March of 1964. And today, we are looking at the first appearance of a brand new character. This is Infant Terrible. The Infant Terrible, he is an alien from outer space. And so the Fantastic Four are going to be going up against this unique alien here, as we have a great looking cover here drawn by the great Jack Kirby. So let's go ahead and get started with today's issue. Today's issue's title is The Infant Terrible, and we're going to find out who exactly he is and what he can do. And before we get started, we got to give credit where credit is due. This issue was lovingly written by Stan Lee, tenderly drawn by Jack Kirby, heroically inked by George Bell, and neatly lettered by Sam Rosen. And so we start out this issue here with the Fantastic Four being surrounded by the press. They're getting their pictures taken. They're showing off their powers to the press. The Fantastic Four at this point in 1963 and 64 are very popular. They have become pretty much America's celebrities. They are a superhero team that has become well known to the public. And so they're getting all their pictures taken. They're taking pictures especially of Sue Storms here, who is the invisible girl, and she can turn invisible, and the press are just admiring her beauty. But the Thing here wants to show off his abilities too. He crumples up all of these phone books, but they're not paying him any attention when all of a sudden we see that there's a man that comes, alerts the press that something is going down in Times Square and they must get there immediately. So they leave in a haste here, and the Fantastic Four are left in bewilderment here, and they're like, I wonder what's going on. We better try to find out what's going on in Times Square. So they hop into their fantastic car here, all four members, with Ben Grimm flying as usual because he was a pilot back in the day. And all of a sudden, they are going to fly right into what it appears to be a floating milk bottle. Now, this is very strange here, and Sue Storms is like, could this be Dr. Doom? And we see Reed says, I don't know what to think, Sue. It doesn't make sense. So then the Human Torch is going to burn a hole through that milk bottle. And he's like, that clinches it. We're not up against some simple menace. This may be the most difficult fight we'll ever face. It's hard to know what to do first. Where do we begin? Well, then they come across a spinning top here. So this is very strange indeed. The Human Torch is going to throw a fireball, a white-hot fireball, and he aims perfectly, shattering that fireball, when all of a sudden, out of that fireball comes a strange-looking object here, like a giant robot. And so the Thing is going to try his best to go up against this robot, and the more he punches, the more they begin to multiply here. And so what the heck is going on here? It seems like the whole city now is surrounded by these green robots. And he's like, look what you've done, Thing. Now you just caused a big mass of villains here, and we don't know how to defeat them. And so now Reed Richards just, as a genius, as we know, he's going to tell the police to fire away with their sirens here, and with that causes all of these robots to disappear. He's like, how did you know to do that? He said, it was just a guess, Chief. I suspected that someone is causing those things to appear, and the noise might shock the culprit, making him lose control. Well, the culprit is going to show his appearance here, and then here he is, the Infant Terrible, causing mayhem here, and he has these powers here where these rays shoot out of his antenna, and he shoots his rays towards that lamppost, causing it to turn into a giant plant bearing berries. Then he makes a faucet appear in the brick wall and it pours soda. And he's like, wow, how is he doing this? And why is he just drinking from this soda bottle here? And so all the press come, they're taking pictures of this alien. When the alien looks at them, and he's going to hurdle them all the way towards the other end of the city here. So we see here that this alien is much more powerful, even more powerful than the Molecule Man who we saw in issue number 20. Then he's going to look up to space and he causes these meteor swarms to hurtle towards the Earth. So now, with the rescue of Reed Richards getting Sue out of the way, now the Fantastic Four are up against a threat that they've never seen before. And they're going to have to figure out how to stop this alien from causing further destruction to New York City. And so we see here that Sue Storm says, that horrible creature is gone too. Oh, Reed, what could he be? I don't know, Sue dear. His actions were as irrational as infants. Wait a minute, an infant? Of course, that's the answer. It has to be. He's creating giant soldiers. His desire for sweet berries, ice cream, sodas, his seemingly meaningless acts, they're all part of the behavior pattern of an infant. And so now Reed and the rest of Fantastic Four are going to have to stop a baby alien from destroying the world. But with that knowledge also comes the threat of menaces who want to try to take advantage of that alien. And so we have Big Joe here, and he's going to alert his men to pick up this alien so that they can take advantage of this alien and get rewarded with all kinds of money and gems and all that. So they come in peace by bringing these candies, lollipops, sodas, and everything. And the baby alien is starting to smile, and he gets into the car. So yeah, this story is something else, y'all. This is a pretty crazy story, but it did happen. It's something that's a part of the Fantastic Four mythos. So we see the Fantastic Four back at their headquarters. They're brainstorming how to defeat this alien. Reed Richards tells the rest of the Fantastic Four that this alien is so dangerous that he could, shrink everything to miniature size and treat all of these things as toys. He can, look to the solar system and treat the planets like, toy balls. We just don't know what he could do. And so the Fantastic Four all decide, we got to go tackle this guy, but Reed Richards is going to stay behind. He has to think and brainstorm. The rest of the Fantastic Four are surprised by Reed wanting to stay behind, but Reed says he has an idea, but he needs to work on a little experiment. So he lets the Fantastic Four go, and Ben Grimm definitely is not happy with Reed for deciding to stay, and especially when Reed says that he's the leader. And so now we see all of a sudden there's this flying armored car being levitated towards the alien because of the directions of these criminals here, who then are going to seize the opportunity to get all of this cash from this armored car. And all of a sudden, the alien starts changing the money into pigs and flying cash into mud. And he said, hey, what's the wise idea? What's going on? Hey, look at this gem. Try to make it bigger. And so he does. And then he turns it into an egg that hatches a baby duck. He said, hey, turn this diamond back, or turn the egg back into a diamond. Come on, or it's curtains for you. Well, the Fantastic Four notice that levitating truck, and they come to the presence of these criminals and the alien. And they're going to make easy work out of these criminals, defeating them. And the thing is going to tie them up on this tree, and they're going to just be hanging from this tree for the now being. And this guy, Big Joe's trying to get away. The Invisible Girl notices, and so the Fantastic Four defeat Big Joe by tying him up with these tires. So he's left for the police. But now they got to go look for the infant, and they find him in the forest. But now the infant's trust towards humans feels like he's been betrayed, so he's going to lash out in a temper tantrum, and he's going to cause these boulders to form into a giant rock monster. So now the Fantastic Four are going to have to fight a undefeatable giant rock monster. Meanwhile, we see Reed Richards is back in the HQ, and he has developed a ultrasonic radio transmitter, and he's going to try to contact the infant's parents. Well, he notices there's this alien ship in the orbit, and they are on the search for their child. And so Reed Richards hoping that his experiment is going to work out so that these parents can come pick up their child. Meanwhile, I see the Fantastic Four are trying their best to defeat this rock monster. They throw him into a giant hole. The alien doesn't like that they beat that rock monster, and now they're going to be surrounded into this unbreathable air bubble. And so they look like they are helpless here, when all of a sudden the alien is going to depart, come back to New York City, land on the ceiling here of the building, and we see that the alien is going to lash out towards humanity here. He has had enough with Earth. He destroys this plane, causing it to turn into silk. He then is going to lash out to the humans and causes all of their priceless, objects here to float into the air. Meanwhile, I see that a lonely figure here, who is Alicia Masters, is caught with a panic. She's bumped down into the ground. We'll get back to her just in a minute. But what we see here is now Reed is successful in contacting the alien's parents. The alien is here to come pick up their child. And we see the alien is causing more destruction. And what Reed feared the most is about to happen, because the clouds have been brought out of the view of the sun. Now the alien looks at the sun, and he's going to try to destroy the sun when his parents show up on the scene. Thankfully, the rest of the Fantastic Four are going to regroup, and they just so happen to see this car without a driver driving down the street, and it's about to hit Alicia Masters, and they save Alicia. They join Reed up on the Fantastic Four building here, and he tells them that he was able to contact the parents of Infant Terrible, and thankfully the aliens didn't mean any harm to the human race, and they fly away, going back home, finally having found their lost infant. And that is how we end this issue. I hope y'all like this this review of issue number 24. It was a unique story. That's something we usually never see in, the Fantastic Four stories. But there you have it, folks. That was issue number 24. Hope you liked it. Go ahead now, drop a like on this video. Comment down below what you liked about this issue, and I will see y'all as we look at issue number 25.